Hey everybody, it's Candy, aka Brown Eyed Girl 69. How y'all doing? Well, I guess I'm doing alright. Don't want to be charging over here. I was gonna do a live, and I thought about it for a minute, and I was like, you know what? No. I'll just go make a video and do my little wake and bake sesh in my video. And just, chit chat much ado about nothing, I suppose. No, I've been working on my infinity hoop. Up to about an average of about probably 10 to 12 minutes per session. Which is cool. I really like it. It's definitely a motivation. I think the one thing that keeps me going is the fact that it's my daughter that really believes in me the most, and she's always been my number one supporter without me realizing it at times. But she could tell that I really wanted it, that's why she bought it for me. And I don't want to disappoint her, This is the first time in my life that I'm going to stay on something consistently without quitting. Because it seems like I've always quit things in my life, when the tough got going. Or it seems like I never stay with something for a long period of time. Probably because I get burned out or bored or just not challenged enough, I'm one of these types of people. That's, I think, one reason why I've had a lot of jobs in my life is because once a job is no longer a challenge for me, it's time for me to move on to something else, because I get bored and I need a challenge. I'm just one of those types of people, I think the longest job that I ever held was, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. Looking back, and March of 2009 to July of 2011, so 2.5 years basically. That was the longest job I ever had. And I worked for a payday loan company. That was in 2009, March of 2009 to July of 2011. I worked at this payday loan company called Check and Go. And I basically handed out money and took money. That's basically what it was. Every 2 weeks, on people's payday, they'd have to come in and pick up their check. If not, we would take it to the bank and get our money. And then they would be out that money. Because most people would come in to pay their loan, which was like, if they got the full amount, which was the most we ever loaned out was $500. That was the max. But they had to pay, like, I think it was $525 or $535, something like that, to pick up their check for $500. Well, then they're out that money, so they need to do a reloan to get that $500 back. So they're basically paying $35 every 2 weeks to keep a loan of $500. It's just ridiculous. You get caught up in that cycle. It was very difficult for some people to get out of. The only way some people could get out of it is to starve for a couple weeks. Basically not come in and pick up their check, as pull their money, and then them have to fend for themselves for another 2 weeks without any money. Or whatever, you know. Until they could get their next check, and then they'd be on guard again, or, you know, be able to go on. But, you know, gotta pay your bills. Just like me. Right here, right now, currently, I make $12.50 an hour. I work approximately 30 hours a week. I bring home approximately $315 to $320 a week. 245 of that has to come out. $245 to $250 a week has to come out of my paycheck. So that leaves me approximately $65 to $70 a week to live on. That's for groceries, that's for gas in my vehicle, that's for non-food items, that's for weed, that's for my vapes. So yeah, I don't have to buy all those things every week, but I'm just saying that my monthly money that I have to live on is probably about $280, $300 at the most, that I can live on after all my bills are paid. That's for groceries. That's like for everything I just listed. That's not a lot of money, especially with the cost of groceries nowadays. And see, that's the thing that sucks is this weekend we're having an extra 10% off for our employees. So this weekend's like, it ends today. It's 20% off. I don't have no money to go buy no groceries and get an extra 20% off even. I did pick up a few items. I think it was on Friday. It was about $32 worth of stuff. And I got like $36 left in my name until payday, which is Thursday. Anyways, I wasn't on here to talk about all that rigmarole. Just talking about things in general, about where I used to work and Payday Loan Company and how things are now versus the way they were back then. Because even back then, when I was working back then, that was in 2009, 2011, I was making like, I started off, $9 an hour, and I ended up, when I left, at $9.50 an hour. But for 10 months, I ran the place by myself, from almost actually a year. From March of 2010 until I think it was January or February of 2011. I ran that place by myself, 100%. Monday through Saturday, open to close. 52 hours a week. I was banking the bucks too, dude. That was back when it was really good. We were living very well because we lived in a small town south of the town I'm in now. We were living in a 2-bedroom house, 1 bath, 2-bedroom, 1 bath house. Me, my husband Daryl, and my daughter Kelsey. And I think our rent was like $200 and what was she charging us? $225, $250 a month, something like that. Plus our utilities, and we had water, electric, and gas that we had to pay for. And then back then we had TV, so we had our satellite bill. Well, not really. In January of 2009, that's when I turned off the TV, so I didn't have that no more. But before that we did have a cable bill, satellite bill. And we didn't have home phones, we had our cell phones. And then I had to get internet. So yeah, our bills was probably about $600-700 a month. Well, plus our food and all that. So I was probably spending a good $1,000 a month to $1,200 a month. just for us to live really comfortably back in the day. But no, I'd have to really add it up. It might be a little less than that. And the fact that I was making that, but I mean, like I said, I was working 52 hours a week, so that was like 12 hours overtime a week. I was bringing home probably about $2,000 a month during those times. And that was bring home, $2,000 a month. You know, my paychecks were about $1,000 every 2 weeks. So out of that $2,000 a month, I was probably selling out about I get $1,200, $1,300 a month. Unfortunately, luckily, I had some money saved after that. After I lost my job, but life goes on, you know. I don't, like I said, don't like to stay in one place too long. Let's see what other stories can I tell you. Talking about stories, story time. I was on Facebook again, and I'm in this group called Growing Up in Oklahoma City. So people post stuff about Oklahoma City all the time, or the surrounding communities of Oklahoma City. And there's this radio station here in Oklahoma City called The Cat. K-A-T-T was the lettering. And their logo, of course, was of a cat. It was yellow, had a bow tie. They basically played hard rock music. And every Sunday night they had a show called Sunday 7 at 7. So they'd play 7 albums starting at 7 o'clock. My husband at the time, this was in the 80s when I met Anthony, my first husband. He always took these Memorex tapes. He would buy buttloads of them, packs, and unwrap them and set them up and record these albums. Well, and he sat there and listened to them all. And every time a commercial came on, he'd pause it. During the commercial, he'd play it back, the last part of it, and he'd get it right where it needed to be. My husband was good at that. Anthony was good at that. And then when the commercial ended, he'd release that pause button, and he'd be ready to go again and record. So yeah, my husband would basically, it was the first pirating, pirating albums without having to pay for them. And these albums, sometimes me and Kat would play some extended albums with some bonus tracks and whatnot. It was pretty cool. Anyway, it was a pretty cool radio station to listen to. But there was this guy that posted something about the cat, and this other person commented on it, and I recognized the last name. I even recognized his name, and so I messaged him and asked him, "Did you go to school in Yukon? And did you have a brother?" And if the answer is yes, I'm class of 87. He messaged me back. He goes, "Hey, Candy, yeah, it's me, girl. I remember you. I was a class of 85. And my brother, Chris, was class of 88. I was like, yeah, that's it. Good to see you, dude. How's it going? So that's kind of cool that I ran into an old time acquaintance. I wouldn't say he was a friend, more of an acquaintance. I went to Yukon High School in Oklahoma. I grew up in Purcell and went here until I was in 6th grade, through 6th grade. And then at the age of 12, we moved to Yukon, Oklahoma, where I attended junior high through high school, which was 1981 to 1987. I graduated high school in 87. December of 87, I met my first husband. March of 88, I was moving out and moving into his home with him in a little suburb called Moore, Oklahoma. He already, owned his own home. Well, he was in the middle of purchasing his own home, I should say. But he was a home buyer. Had an array of vehicles. He was making $17 an hour as an electronic technician for AT&T. He was at the top of his class. He was valedictorian from his class, a high school class, and he was valedictorian in his technological class, where he took, schooling for electronic technician. And I think he was probably given a base rate, but he was making $17 an hour as electronic technician for AT&T in 1987 into 1988. 1988, North Carolina plant shut down, and all those people with 20, 30 years of service moved to Oklahoma and continued their jobs at the AT&T plant in Oklahoma City. All those people with 5 years to 10, 15 years of service, well, they were downgraded out of their jobs and downgraded in pay rate. Well, my husband wouldn't have that, so he quit. We went to Phoenix, Arizona, came back, left again, went to Louisiana, and then I came back and left my husband in January 91. We got married in February of 89. In January 91, I was leaving him and moving back in with my mother in Yukon. And then I eventually got divorced and got my own place and moved out to Oklahoma City, where I lived until I moved to Dallas in 94. Met my daughter's dad in 95. We moved back to Oklahoma to be near his family in southeast Oklahoma in 96. We moved back to Oklahoma City in 97 and stayed there. Kelsey was born in 99. By fall of 2000, I was moving back to my small town of Purcell. Her dad stayed in Oklahoma City. We were separated. And then we were separated till August of 2002. And then he passed away in October of 2002. Kelsey was almost 4 at that point in time. Now she's 25. 2002 to 2004, I was in Purcell. Then I met Daryl. And then me and Daryl had our adventure for 13 years. That would be a whole completely different segment of videos. Maybe I should start doing segments. Different subject matters. Y'all hit me up. Tell me what y'all want me to post about, because I'm a content creator, I guess, I'm a person that likes to hear what other people think. Not about myself specifically, but what interests them, because my whole life people told me that I can talk about anything. I had a couple of really good friends that told me, Candy, you can talk about any subject matter. How is that? You're able just to talk about any subject matter. And I'm like, well, a lot of the subject matters that I can just jump in on, give an opinion on or whatever, is due to either A, my upbringing, or my educational level, or my experience level, personal experience, that's how it's always been for me. When I was a little girl, I was raised in the 70s. I read a lot of encyclopedias. I was very curious, and I liked looking at photos. And my mom had a really nice couple encyclopedia sets, and she had a really, really, really nice dictionary that was more than a dictionary. It was like, God, that book was thick, big. I wish I still had it. Lost it in storage in 2013. But it had the Constitution of the United States in there. It had the periodic table of chemicals in there. It was a dictionary. It was a Pictionary. It was an amazing book. And I only have memories of it now. My mom's probably kicking my butt for giving it to me, since I no longer have it. And my mom's still alive. Anyway, you know, you can't change time or anything like that. But that was one of the books that I looked at and read a lot too growing up. So that's how I get that's how I have a lot of information already on certain subject matters. But yeah, if anybody's interested in specific subject matters, hey, I'm more than happy to try to discuss those things. And until I can upgrade and get a computer Wi-Fi hookup in my apartment and get online via computer, my videos are never going to be any more elaborate than me just sitting here talking to you. I'm going to let you know that right now. Unless I decide to take the phone with me and film or record while I'm out and about. Or maybe, you know, some videos of me doing my hoop or whatever. But for the most part, you're just going to see me talking and discussing things. And more than likely, always partaking of Mother Earth herself. So, in the meantime, I hope everything's well with you folks. And much love. Peace, love, hugs, nugs. If any of y'all would like me to do a live sometime, maybe even do a scheduled live, let me know in the comment section down below. Until then,